Hello YouTubers, Nicholas here and Heidi on the back. We're in, me and wife here out for a weekend in Wales, so at the moment we're in mid Wales heading towards Snowdonia National Park. It's just stunning, loving it. Starting to relax into the ride a bit now. I was a bit uptight this morning. Sat-nav giving me issues. Probably user error. Look at this. Beautiful. We just went past this lovely big reservoir. Pity I didn't have the camera on then. Sort of roads you can stay within the national speed limits and really enjoy yourself. That's what I like. It means you can relax, you don't have to worry about getting caught speeding. It's a playground for bikers, this is. This morning it was really busy, they all seem to have gone home now. So we've got quite a long way to go. Set off from Devon this morning about 8:30 and took the M5 to Bristol, and eventually we got across on the Severn Bridge, the second one, which comes out in really lovely windy roads, but I missed the turning, so we ended up going on the motorway anyway. I got a bit stressed. But now here in mid Wales, and we're heading to Llandudno, which is at North Wales. We've still got a fairly long way to go. We're going to travel up through the Snowdonia National Park. Should see some lovely sights, and got a hotel booked, so we'll be staying up there tonight and riding back tomorrow. I love it. Not so much Heidi's cup of tea. She tends to, I think, just do it for me, but she gets quite bored. She's nearly fallen asleep now. Earlier I just throttled off like that and she headbutted me in the back of the head, which means she was actually falling asleep, which is not ideal. She's better off when she's riding her own bike. When she can ride, she's got her own, took her own big bike test. Maybe it'll happen again one day. Oh, she's listening, I didn't realise. I thought she was listening to a podcast. I've been yapping away to the camera. I know, it's a long ride though, I love it. We were going to go to Aberystwyth, but because we got delayed by about an hour this morning, faffing around. Sat-nav just wouldn't take me on the route I wanted to go on. It just kept trying to divert to the way it wanted to go, even though I'd put a route in and specifically put certain places. It was just ignoring it and trying to take me its own way. I got really pissed off about that. Calm down a bit now. So we're not going to Aberystwyth. We're just going to head north now to northwest Wales. It's quite spectacular, quite mountainous. If there was a Mount Anus, it would probably be a volcano, wouldn't it, love? Be like big puckered up anus with a hole in the middle. So, yeah, I just sort of relaxed into my ride now, and Whereas before I was always using a higher rev range and always changing gear. That is a habit I picked up from riding 4-cylinder bikes, where they only really perform well in the higher revs, but this doesn't actually need to. It's more relaxed actually if you just use the torque of the bike rather than keep changing gear. Use higher gears instead of changing up and down all the time, just relax. Use the brakes a little bit rather than the engine braking on gearbox. Look at this scenery, bloody beautiful. I'm a lucky man. We just stopped in this little village and where this tiny little coffee shop that sold sweets. It's the most quaint. Got into quite a nice conversation with the proprietor there, this lady. All my conversations seem to like steer towards spiritual chatter, don't they, love? Well, yeah, not all of them, but I do tend to meet up with people now and again. I think it's a sort of self-supporting network. And people are sort of steered together for a reason. Yeah, I think so. Law of attraction. There's not many of us out there. We can feel quite isolated because of that. It's quite nice when you meet someone that you can talk about, I wouldn't say spiritual, meet people that you can talk about real things rather than, ooh, lovely weather we're having lately. Bullshit, basically. It's not bullshit, you know, we all chatter about that sort of thing, but there's only so much of that sort of chatter I can do. Quite enjoying this road, love, even though it's a small road. Quite engaging. There's Mountainous there. There it is, love. No, it's fine at the moment. How's yours? Using the torque of the bike rather than changing down. Bit of gravel there. To 30. I'll change down now. That'll do. I like places like this, but I don't know if I'd like to live here. Don't know. We lived in Wales once, didn't we, love? Too many Welsh people for my liking. They can be quite cliquey, can't they? They don't like the English and they can make you feel like an outsider. No. I love the country though, and the mountains and the scenery. And some Welsh people are okay. We met a good friend of me, Paul Morgan. He used to say, I'm Welsh born and Welsh bred, and when I die I'll be Welsh dead. And that's what it's like, a lot of the Welsh people that come out of Wales. And a lot of the people that live in the valleys don't actually leave the valley towns. It's like really unusual. Wouldn't be my idea of heaven. I'm a free spirit. I like to roam around and experience this life. Well, you know, we're here on this planet, aren't we? We might as well make the most of it. Yeah. it's comfortable and safe. Yeah, I know. But you sort of get stuck in a safe, cosy place, don't you? Yeah, but life for me is about living, you know, and experiencing. It's a special thing. Let's make the most of it. Experiencing as much of it as you can. So get in front of that car. I'm not allowed. No, it isn't. It's not. True. I'm going to overtake him in a minute. What, right into that ambulance? At least they'll be able to pick me up and take me to hospital. Yeah, there's a dragon up there. Cool. It looks quite amusing, doesn't it? Yeah, they can be. You know, I suppose to me, like, Wales is the land of the dragon because of the twists and turns and the mountains and everything. It's like, and it has a definite spirit, a feel to it. Wild, beautiful. The dragon up there, look. Boston Railway line, I think. Chuff chuff line. It's probably still steam. They haven't yet got electricity in Wales. Or diesel, have they, love? I guess in some ways, you know, it's not a bad thing to be, I wouldn't say patriotic, but to hold on to values, you know, of the area where you live, because it's like unique to the area, isn't it? This is what helps maintain the diversity within our culture, which is really relevant and really healthy, needed. For all the same, you know, I think it'd be not so good. Let's have a look a minute. In a way, it's the way things are going, like the way that people try to change everyone to make it all universal is almost, you could almost consider it like an ethnic cleansing. An ethnic cleanse where you're taking away all differences, trying to make everyone the same. But it's what, you know, it's what you're taking away the richness of and diversity of human beings. Taking the colour out of life. Which one? That one there? Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? So you come across thistles, brambles and stinging nettles. I think in a lot of ways that's what we're trying to do in the West, is trying to westernise the world. You know, isn't that what this anti-Islam's about? Trying to make them out the bad, the criminals, trying to get them all to be like us. Call them terrorists. I don't know, I think there might be an element of that, trying to westernise the whole world. Commons Cocklove. It's like the missionaries did when they went to Africa, wasn't it? We must civilise these savages. They told them that if they had sex, they had to do it in a missionary position. Jesus, not do it like animals. What's that all about? Weird. Make them all Christians. There's another example of ethnic cleansing. Rather than allowing each religion to be, rather than trying to change everything. It's what I like about the path of Buddhism and meditation. It's not trying to change you or change anything. It's just, a lot of it is directing us towards just being content the way things are, seeing things as they are rather than constantly trying to change things to make us feel more comfortable. I suppose in a way part of me does resist talking about spiritual topic subjects. I know in the past it's not made me very popular. I've had good friends and I always go that little bit, or when I have gone that little bit further to what I feel might make people uncomfortable. You can see the shutters come down over the eyes. Okay, I'm not listening anymore because they feel uncomfortable, it frightens them. Or they either think it's frightening me, or they think I'm mad. So I'm talking about subjects where they have no understanding or recollection. They're too far removed from it to be able to understand it. You know, and I think the journey or the path is a very personal one. Sometimes you can meet people along your path that are at the same or near the same place as you, and you can understand each other. And I think if you're a little bit removed, say this not quite at that point, if you meet someone that's a little bit further ahead, and they can actually help you move forward that little bit more. But if the gap's too far removed, it frightens people, or they think, well, they just really don't get it, and they just think, well, because if they don't understand you, they think, is he crazy? And in some respects it can make you feel quite lonely when you can't really communicate what you know to others. We crave that, don't we? We crave connection with our fellow human beings. It's really important. We're a social animal. But some of us, or some people, are the pioneers, aren't they, that always want to be pushing the boundaries. Just like that book, or I don't know if you've read it or heard of it. It's called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's about someone that was always pushing the boundaries. Make sure wife's still on there. And they become so far removed that they actually get ostracised from the flock. It's not that they've gone mad, it's just they're explorers, pioneers, people that are not afraid to push boundaries, to learn new things. And I suppose that fear of being ostracised can keep you in the same place and stop you progressing. But really, that's when you're doing that, you're not doing yourself any favours. In fact, you're not doing the flock any favours either, because you need to challenge and to be challenged. And I think that's why I do resist talking Dharma. Oh, I just missed a turning. A little reroute. Be over there. Yeah, it is a personal journey. And I think as an individual I've probably pushed the boundaries a lot further than most people have. I know things that I don't talk about on this too much for some. So when I was a younger man and I started discovering things, you know, and I started taking giant leaps forward, I suppose, in my progress, in my understanding, I was ready for it. I was ripe for it. I felt I'd reached a dead end and I really wanted to move forward, and then when it happened I really was like a thirsty person for knowledge. Thirst, I had so much thirst that I really moved forward quite quickly. And I was so enthused by these things that I discovered, these wonderful things that I discovered, that I wanted to share it with other people. It wasn't always appreciated. I lost many friends because of it. Long-standing friends that weren't ready to take that jump, that step, to move in that direction. And I was quite saddened by that, but I couldn't just stay put for their sake. You know, this life, this opportunity is a real rare and precious thing. That's how I feel about it. Friends are rare and precious, but you know, you can't stunt your progress for the sake of your friends. We have to move forward, and in some ways maybe it'll encourage them to do the same. Being safe isn't always a good thing. Being safe and staying in the same place is stagnation. I guess there's no rush. Maybe I should be more patient. So I wouldn't say that my enthusiasm has dwindled. But I think I've realised the futility of trying to push it on people. So that's why I hesitate a little bit about this, you know, talking about these sorts of things. And I suppose in some ways it might seem I'm being a bit cryptic because I can't really open up completely. What I could do is drop little hints maybe. But it is a wonderful world. There's so much more to know than most people realise. Yeah, so I think my enthusiasm is still there, but I'm a little bit more restrained, a bit more careful about who I open up to. I don't enjoy ridicule, and I don't also I don't enjoy frightening people. They have to really walk the path and discover it for themselves too, don't they? So, you know, sometimes I'll meet someone that's also on the path, and I might be able to drop a few crumbs. Because what I want to do is not take them there, but just encourage them to keep on, don't give up. And I think when you meet people, it often seems like chance. also a similar understanding. I don't think it is chance. I think, I don't like to call it fate, maybe, or Dharma, that's the better word, brings these people together to encourage support and support each other. Really important. You can drop a few crumbs, and sometimes they may drop you a few crumbs, you know. There are lots of people further down the path than me, I'm sure. And I think at the end of the day, it's not just about knowledge. It's not. Wow, this is spectacular. Look at this. At the end of the day, it's not just about knowledge, because knowledge can't take you there. Knowledge can take you part way. Sometimes, you know, personally I feel that where I am at the moment, look at this. It's about overcoming my prejudice. Prejudice for me, it's has many layers and subtleties. First of all, we overcome our major prejudices, but it doesn't mean we've reached the final goal, because there's always more. And the more prejudices we can overcome, the more free we become, and the more connected we become. And this is it. It's not about becoming higher, mightier than anyone else. The knowledge can make you feel like that, and there's a trap there. The ego grabs hold of it and uses it to its advantage, and then makes us feel increasingly isolated. And that isn't the goal. Look at this! Ow! For instance, you know, when I became a vegetarian, it was the right way to go, but also there's this tendency to feel that you are elevated and other people superior. It's not really the case. It just means that you've woken up a bit more. But the ego grabs hold of that and twists that round to its advantage, and then pushes you away from other people, which is not what we want. Not the way forward, it's not the path. You know, so that's a subtle form of prejudice. I hope you're getting this. This is wow. High thinking and a high scenery. I think ultimately we're looking at fragmenting the ego, shredding it completely. Doesn't mean you lose self. You just lose the illusion of separateness. hell, this is so beautiful. Because ultimately what we want to do is nurture love. Nurture that sense of unconditional love for ourselves and for each other. It takes practice. When you start to realise there's no difference between self and other, that boundary starts to dissolve. You know what I'm saying? You love yourself, you love others. Because we're all in the same boat, you know, we're all struggling to become liberated. Lady's giving me a sweet. It must be a sign that I've got to shut up. There's my sweetie. See if I can get it in the gob. The sweet didn't want to become liberated from my glove. Cough candy, delicious. And this is what I was trying to say the other day, trying to explain to someone. It's not about us and them. Being able to move forward without prejudice, I think that's the key. I think so, for instance, when you start becoming aware of the suffering that we're causing through our actions and our attitude, and you change, it's difficult not to be, once you take that step, it's difficult not to be horrified, offended and disgusted by the actions of others. Then we become prejudiced because of it. But at the end of the day, we can't change them. They have to change themselves. They're not going to change if we're aggressive or negative towards them, and we'll just suffer because of that. So they were just adding to the suffering. There's enough of that. It's like by trying to stop the suffering, we create more suffering. Shit, that's not what we want. All we can do is be responsible for our own actions and try, if we can, gently to steer people in the right direction if the opportunity arises, but you can't force them. It takes a lot of patience, I think. A lot of patience and a lot of love. really enjoyed this talk. I feel really tender-hearted now. That state of tenderness that I'm feeling, I think that's my nature. That's, you know, and I think that's in all of us, that tenderness and softness. It's our true nature. Got a tear now running down my right cheek. This is a real beautiful thing, you know. What I've discovered, it's not, you know, you can see beauty out there and it's nice, you can appreciate it, but the real beauty is inside. Well, that's the real beauty that we're all looking for. I'm not always in this state, I don't always constantly feel this, and now and again a little window opens up and I touch into it, you know. One day I'll live in that state and I'll be there completely. Then I'll be myself entirely. Being myself, I'll also be intimately a part of everyone else as well. That'll do for a little while. I've really enjoyed this talk. I'm so glad I did open up and talk. I always initially feel that resistance, and then when I do get over that difficulty, it flows and I feel a lot better. I've managed to express myself, and it's so important, isn't it, to be able to express yourself. It's really important, you know, honest way. Like getting real, touching into what's real. So necessary. Copper. I'm sure you can hear my sat nav slightly irritating. I need it because I don't know where I'm going. Still heading up through Snowdonia. Beautiful. Love it.